Hello, everybody. Welcome to IP Day Webinar Wednesday. Thank you for joining us today's session called Real Places, Real Voices, Transforming English for Speakers of Other Languages Through Outdoor Learning. I know how busy you are planning, grading, counseling, and lesson planning, so thank you for giving me this hour together. I'm going to share a little bit about me. Welcome, everybody, and thank you for joining me today. My name is Sulima Rizari, and today we're going to talk about how outdoor community-based learning can transform your ESL instruction for adult learners or just any type of classroom in our educational setting. So I have been working in adult education at the school called ALCO, Adult Learning Center of Wasilla County, for the past 5 years. I also have experience teaching K-12 educational system, including ESC and foreign language. And I'm also a product of the ESL educational system myself. So I was once a student and now I'm a teacher. So I am very aware of how learning a second language can bring its challenges. As a child student, when I was in school, I dreaded learning English in traditional setting. Therefore, when I became a teacher, I knew I had to teach it with a spin. Now, with over 10 years of experience, one thing I constantly strive is making learning fun, meaningful, and engaging. I hope you enjoyed this presentation and I truly appreciate your feedback. At the end of the presentation, IPDAY has a few questions and how this presentation will help you in your future, and also tips in how I did. And I see some people already. Hi, I'm Tiffany. Hi, Letty. Welcome to the webinar. So, things to remember. You have a handbook that accompanies this presentation. Follow along if you like or listen. There's no pressure. You can also access it afterwards. And also, please keep your mics muted unless invited. This session is being recorded and will be available on the IPDAY website along with the handbook. So everything I showed today is in the handbook, plus extra activities and ideas you can use in your classrooms. So we have a few objectives. You'll leave with designing outdoor ESOL activities, increasing engagement via experiential learning, using formative assessments, and connecting to IET workforce prep. These activities can be manipulated and changed to your own classroom or subject. So now I want to get to know you guys. In the chat box, can you please put your name, the school you work at, and what you teach? Thank you, Madeline, for joining. Thank you, Frida Boyles, for joining. Michelle Overstreet, thank you, thank you. Tiffany Bell, thanks for joining. Thank you, Lourdes. Where are you guys coming from? What schools? I would like to know that. Thank you, Lori Wolf. Thank you, thank you. I love this mix, adult ESOL, GED, workforce. It truly makes the village work. Love it, love it. Thank you, everybody, for introducing themselves. Awesome. So we're going to continue. So the power of real-world language learning. So English comes alive when students see themselves in the world around them. Our students crave real experiences, real conversation, real places, real voices. This is our students, and they need us. So we have a little icebreaker. Before we dive in, I want to ask you a question to help us connect as educators. Think about your adult learners or students, the real people sitting in your classroom every day. Have you ever noticed that sometimes when you're teaching your heart out, traditional instruction alone doesn't fully engage them or reach to them? Maybe they understand the lesson, but they're not fully engaged. So you can respond with yes, with no. Okay, I see a mix. Yes. So we're not alone when reflecting about our classroom. And that's exactly why this conversation matters. We're all here because we want to make our classrooms more engaging and meaningful for our students. Today, I will share both research based reasons behind outdoor learning and, most importantly, how it truly helps our students grow and gain confidence and use English in real life. We're going to go with our first objective, why we think outside the box in adult ESL world. So, adult learners come into our classroom with lived experiences, goals, and real responsibilities. Because of that, traditional classroom instruction alone doesn't always transfer easily into the real world. That's where outdoor learning makes a difference. When students step into the real environments, they build confidence, they feel less afraid to speak, and they begin to act more independently. Communication becomes authentic because it has a real purpose. Outdoor learning also uses a multi-sensory approach. Students are seeing, hearing, touching, and doing. When language is learned this way, comprehension is stronger, confidence grows, and the learning truly sticks. So we're going to back it up with a little bit of research and scientific foundation. So right here we have a little picture and it has different topics, right? So the research behind this approach is grounded in experiential learning theory by David Kolb. Kolb explains that learning is not passive. It happens when students actively experience something and then reflect on it. When learners interact with their environment, process what happens, and apply it, learning becomes more deeper and more lasting. This is exactly what happens in outdoor ESL learning. When students experience and apply any learning outside the four walls, learning becomes more meaningful to them. For example, when the students go to a library, grocery store, a zoo, or a workplace, they're not just hearing English, they're using it. They are reading signs, listening to directions, asking questions, and making decisions. This is why this activity in the presentations are so effective. They follow the same learning cycle that Kolb describes. Students experience the language in real life, reflect on it, and then apply it again with more confidence, in which as a teacher, that's what you want. You want your students to feel confident and help them understand what they're learning and sticking their language. Co-op experiential learning is do, reflect, connect, and apply. Outdoor learning follows that cycle. Students go to the real place, do, debrief, reflect, make a meaning, connect, try again in context when they apply it. This theory works in any classroom if you apply it with your learning goals, objectives, and standards. Feel free to research David Kolb's. His theory is indeed one of my favorites. This is why lesson 6, students aren't memorizing English, they are living it. So, how does outdoor experience help with second language acquisition? Research shows that real world interaction increases vocabulary retention, speaking fluency, and motivation. Social learning also improves students' engagement and persistence. So, although this presentation is geared toward our ESL, as instructors, we can modify into our diverse subjects of expertise. Outdoor learning is not extra or enrichment. It's directly supported through Florida Adult ESOL standards, including listening and speaking, civic literacy, consumer economics, workforce readiness, and critical thinking. This is one of my favorite outdoor experiences as an ESL teacher level 2. It's the ESL Community Library. This is usually outside their comfort zone, outside their classroom setting, and it brings them with the actual learning into a reality. As for us, it might sound like a simple task. Our adult learners or any learners that do not have language or social skills might struggle with going to a library. In this outdoor learning setting, students learn how to access free resources, ask questions in English, read signs, and continue learning independently outside the classroom. It shows them to take actions and use their social skills to go around the library and be very inquisitive. They also learn how to navigate the system and structure that is in place to help them and gain more skills and knowledge. This is outside of what I'm trying to teach them. This is their gaining extra skills. So as you guys see, that picture was made with AI. It's actually a real picture, but I used AI to manipulate it and created characters. So I have a picture. What do you see in this picture? Write it in the chat. What kind of students do you see? What are they doing as a teacher? What can you infer from those pictures? I'm going to give you guys a minute to answer. So, as a teacher, what I see students being inquisitive and companionship in learning and teaching others, helping each other as a community. I like your responses. Look like they're exploring resources. I love it. That's one of my goals as a teacher is to have resources for them that are outside their mean, that is free, and they can use it with their families. Also, these resources, when the students go to a library, a lot of them don't know that they can actually get a library card and it's free. When my students went to the library, they were so happy that they were able to check out 25 books. Some of my students went and checked out books for their kids. So we're not only encouraging our students to learn, but they're also encouraging their families to learn. I like that, enriching. I love it, love it. So we're going to move on. So, what are learners developing when exploring the real world? This is a bonus learning. My students tend to be very passionate because of their backgrounds. These are some things that I learn as a teacher that I need to teach my students. Example, as a teacher, we learn from trial and error. We learn from experiences that our students teach us. As teachers, we learn every day along our students. For example, we learn respect personal space and use calm voices, greet others politely and make eye contact, wait for your turn and follow posted rules and signs, use please and thank you, be respectful to employees and community members, stay aware of time and be punctual, use phones quietly and appropriately. So those are some things that I teach my students, and they're gaining skills and also being able to apply it in their real world setting. So for example, at the library, they learn how to be respectful, respect personal space, and use calm voice. Our next objective, using formative assessment to monitor learning outdoors. So as teachers, that's one of our main goals, how to use formative assessments in these adventures. So as a teacher, I use different kinds of assessments. Usually they're tied to civic literacy, communication, reading, and the ones that I usually use are observation checklists or response and reflection journals. So this is an example of an assessment. So as a teacher, you have to know your students and what level of English you're teaching or just your subject in general. So in my case, I have to do it by proficiency, right? I do 1, 2, and 3 in criteria. I'm also in a library, so I take this in a little folder so that way I can evaluate everybody. So in this case, this is more geared towards the library and how I assess my students when they're in the library in that setting. Obviously, I want them to understand the library, use English to communicate at all times, and they're aware of the community resources, reading and navigating the system, reading signs, and learning reflection. I want them to reflect on their learning and how the library is an asset in learning for them. So, in today's era, we have great assistants called AI, right? We have Copilot, Gemini, ChatGPT to auto draft rubrics aligned to your standards in seconds. So we have amazing tools that can help us. So this is another example. This is actually a scavenger hunt that I use in my library setting. I like to be very technological, so I use a lot of QR codes. So as a teacher, I try to make my life easier for myself and for my students. So you learn as you go. So we see right here different kind of questions that help them go through the library and answer because I want them to explore their resources. So as an ESL instructor, I combine my ELP aligned with my main learning objectives and curriculum use. In order to create my observation checklist or scavenger hunt or assignments, I create on Word, or if I need assistance, I use the help of Copilot. So our next objective, boosting engagement and language acquisition through experiential learning. So this is another activity that I really enjoy with my students. It's the outdoors activity, zoo-based ESL learning. What are the students learning here? They're at the zoo. The students read maps, signage, describe animals and environment, navigate space, and communicate with peers and staff. This is a low stress and energized. When learning feels meaningful, the students take risks and languages to grow. So this is one of my main, that's how I started the outdoor learning experience with my students. We went to a zoo because I wanted them to be engaged in their community. And it's one of the most popular outdoor learning experiences in my classroom. And we have to understand every school and every district is different. And as a teacher, you know what you can do with your classrooms. So quick chart of ELPs, English language proficiency. Obviously, this is geared to level 2, but as a teacher, you guys can change it. We can see that all the ELPs that match is 1, 2, 3, 4. So basically, students understand simple spoken and written English. Students ask and answer simple questions. Students describe people, places, and activity. Students use English in community settings. As a teacher, that's my goal, that they are able to engage into their communities and use their language that they're learning. These are more ELP and how they connect. ELP 7, 8, and 9. Students adjust how they speak based on who they talk to. Students learn vocabulary using context and visuals. Students share simple ideas orally or written. So this is how it fits in our outdoor learning environment. If you have any questions, you can write them on the chat box. So we have another outdoor experience that I really enjoy in my classroom. It's the grocery shopping model 1. So for this activity, each student is assigned a job role, such as a cashier, a customer, or a stock clerk. This immediately gives them a purpose and helps them step into real life situations they may encounter outside the classroom. When they, as an adult, they go to groceries, right? So I'm giving them a real life experience in the classroom. As a classroom, we help our community. So we collect a basket during October to donate to a cause by our school district. So our own students bring a non-perishable item to make a basket. So as a teacher, I use my resources to make my learning stick out. So with these items, I make a grocery store to practice before we send them away. We build our own grocery store and I give them fake USD currency money to use. This is to integrate many skills. As teachers, we have moments that you can use and spin them into a learning moment. So that day in my classroom is a little bit chaotic, but it's very fun. We set up the classroom as a grocery store. We use tables, we use whatever we have, and they actually have a list that they have to follow, and they have to calculate how much money they need, and they have to ask for the products in English. They go and they buy, they purchase the items, and then they get cash back. So all this is happening while they're gaining real experiences and they're learning through all that. So then we have the outdoor grocery shopping model too. So I give them two options, right? Because every semester looks different. So we visit a local grocery store. Students use a real budget and grocery list. Students ask questions and locate items using English. So the second model is taking the same experience into the community. After students practice in the classroom, we move into the real grocery store setting. Students bring their grocery list and budget with them and are encouraged to ask questions, locate items, compare prices, and make decisions using English. Some students work independently while other students work in pairs for their own support. This model allows students to apply what they practice in class to real life situations. It builds confidence, independence, and real world language skills. So, how the ELP's standard alignments. So, it constructs meaning from oral and written text. Students read signs, label prices, and listens to direction in real setting. Participate in oral exchange. Students ask and answer simple questions with store staff and classmates. Language for problem solving. Students make decisions based on budget, availability, and needs, and determine meaning of words and phrases. Students use visuals and context to understand new vocabulary. So as a teacher, I want them to be able to manipulate all these things into the real world. So I'm going to give you guys a few minutes. Think and share in the chat. Okay. So based on what has been presented so far, what are some hands-on and real-life activities you use in your classroom or seen other teachers use? I want you guys to think and place them on the chat, things that you have seen with your colleagues or even in your own classroom. How do you bring outdoor experiences in your classroom? I know a lot of my coworkers also do a lot of outdoor experiences for their students. So while you guys prepare, the other day I went to a classroom at the technical college, and we had the cosmetology students go into the construction class, and they were singing a song that they put together with vocabularies for the cosmetology. So all the terms for cosmetology, they placed it into a song, and they were showcasing their songs into another technical program, the construction class, and they were able to vote. I thought this was an amazing idea. The students were very engaged, and you can see that learning was happening. Oh, I like that one too, Leticia, that you've seen teachers take their students to the ice cream shop and practicing to order. See, that's a real world experience, and that's very meaningful for them and for their families. Cindy said, I have a box of food items, pieces that look real. When discussing nutrition, we use the food to create healthy meals. Awesome. That is very, very awesome. Students making change using fake money. Okay. Bring menus and practicing order. Oh, I love that one. See, a lot of the resources as teacher, we love free resources, right? As teachers, we don't make millions, right? So making sure that all of our resources are free, it helps us and it helps our students. Okay. Very good, very good. I had a cooking show. That is amazing. That is very, very awesome. I also have seen in our GED classrooms, one of our teachers, the math teacher, she usually has geometry shapes all around the building, and the students go outside and measure all these geometry shapes. That's an outdoor experience and it's very fun, easy, and Very interactive. Filling out forms, helping fill in. Amazing. Very, very good. All these ideas, I like it. And as teachers, we can take all these advices from other teachers and manipulate them and make them yours in your own classroom. Use role plays. Amazing. Very good. I love that everybody's sharing something. Okay, so now we're going to go to our next objective. Connecting outdoor ESL instruction to IET and workforce preparations. As a adult teacher, I know that IETs are very meaningful for adults because we're preparing them to be in the workforce. So, outdoor experiences, paraprofessional IET shadowing model. So, I was a paraprofessional teacher and I loved teaching that class, but I also knew I had to give them an outdoor experiences. So, real learning in real classrooms. These experiences create a vivid picture of what students will face in their future careers. They also help students make meaningful connections with potential employers. So, as an IT paraprofessional teacher, you can teach them out of the book, right? But it's not giving them a real experience, right? So usually this how this benefits our students is shadow professional at elementary, middle, and high school level. So this way our students are able to see all the options around the schools and they can see what they want to do in the future. They also apply classroom knowledge in authentic settings. They communicate with staff and students, and they build professional confidence and identity. So in my classroom, we have different ways that we do job shadowing. So we go to the classroom a day, or we have multiple days when our students go into different schools and they're able to interact with the students and they're able to interact in the schools and experience. So for them, when they go and do that outdoor learning experience, they're fascinated. Some of them come and they're so excited. Oh, I want to be a paraprofessional in the elementary school. And others, oh no, I would never go to an elementary. I love the high school. So it's giving them that option that they can interact to see that if that's what they really want to do. So as a teacher, I want to give my students options, and outdoor learning experiences gives that to our students. So this experience creates learning that cannot be replicated in a textbook. So we have differences, right? So we have to think outside the box when making instructional decisions. The focus should always be on what will best benefit our IET classes and our students. This slide highlights that IET outdoor learning experience can look different in every county, and that's okay. What's important is to remember that these opportunities are possible when we build strong partnerships and make connection within our communities. Every semester looks different based on students' needs, program goals, and availability of resources. That flexibility allows us to adapt and still provide meaningful real world learning experiences to our students. So in our county, we're very blessed to have different partnerships. For example, we partner with Career Source to provide internship opportunities and with the Oswego School District to support job shadowing experiences. These partnerships allow students to apply what they are learning in authentic settings and better understand the expectation of the workforce. The key takeaway here is that outdoor and community-based IT learning does not have to look the same everywhere. With collaboration and intentional planning, it can be successfully implemented in many different ways. That's why as a teacher, I work a lot with our coordinators. We have an amazing coordinator at ALCO, and she tries to get all the best opportunities for our students, and working together makes that happen for our students. So this activity, for example, in that picture, the students were actually doing an internship and they actually were able to work in a school of their choice for 3 weeks. So they were gaining the experience, they were being seen, and some of our students even got hired in these schools that they worked for those 3 weeks. So that internship opened doors for our students. And that's why I want my students to have the opportunity to take learning outside so that way they can have more opportunities. So, outdoor experiences. Our IET commercial driver license CDL class B. Okay, so this is a little bit different. It looks different in every district. These are examples of how real life experiences help us and help our students learn more effectively. When students are placed in authentic environments, they can connect new vocabulary and language structures to their prior knowledge and lived experiences. Learning no longer feels abstract. It becomes meaningful and purposeful. So as you guys see, this is our CDL class. They also have a portion that they're in the classroom, but then they go outside and experience. All those are learning outdoor experiences for our students, and it makes them learn English more effectively. So for example, I had a student that she was taking different kind of IITs because she wanted to search for her passion. She did the IIT paraprofessional, she did the IIT CDL, she did the IIT construction until she found her passion and doors that opened for her. So we have outdoor experience or IIT construction. So this class looks different every semester. So these experiences go beyond simply learning a skill or preparing for a job. Students actively engage with language by seeing it, hearing it, touching it, and using it in real time. By engaging all their senses, students understand conversation, objects, and tasks more deeply. This multi-sensory approach strengthens the comprehension, builds confidence, and helps language to truly stick. So, for example, we have two pictures. We have a student holding a book in the IT construction class. So, and then we have a company. So, as a teacher, we have to understand that learning doesn't have to only be outside. We can bring the outside to the inside of our classroom. So we invite a lot of different companies to see our students and give them opportunities to interact. So in this case, it's the IT construction. So we bring DeWalt into the classroom and they explain them about their new tools, and the students are interacting in English and they're being able to express what they feel and how they like the construction and how the tools are more effective. So it's very nice to see the interaction of the students with these companies. So outdoor learning experience doesn't have to be outdoors. You can actually bring them into your classrooms. So outdoor experience in the IT construction world. Outdoor experience is visiting a local hardware store. So that's one of the activities that I used to do with my construction class. We used to take a budget, and with that budget, we went to buy supplies. This slide focuses on our outdoor learning experience at our local hardware store, and that's why it is so impactful for our students. When students go into the real hardware store, they're practicing workplace communication in authentic settings. They have to ask questions, they have to listen carefully, and explain what they need using professional language. This experience also encourages problem solving and collaboration. Students work together to locate items, compare options and prices, and make decisions, just like they would on a real job site or the real world setting. Most importantly, it connects ESL instruction directly to technical and career training. Students are not just learning vocabulary, they're applying language skills in a real world environment. As a result, they gain confidence and feel more prepared to navigate professional settings outside the classroom. So, for example, for that hardware store, we went, obviously, as a teacher, you have to communicate with your local hardware and let them know that you're having a outdoor learning experience. They're usually very welcoming and accommodating. So you contact them, you let them know, hey, I'm taking my classroom, we have this in plan, and they usually work with the teacher and with the students. Our local hardware, they were very amazed about this experience. They were very, very accommodating. They were even helping our students in creating the paint color because we gave them specific colors that they had to make. So the clerks were helping our students create the colors. Others were telling them where to locate the wood, the nails, the safety hazards. So they were all very, very welcoming in that aspect. So as a teacher, everything is possible. Whatever goal you have in place as an outdoor learning experience, usually you will have people to back you up. So as you guys can see in that picture, the students were actually looking in how they were going to create the project and what tools they needed. So not only they were buying items, they were actually in the planning. They were planning how to create their project. So in these pictures, what do you guys see there? Are they inside four walls? What do you guys see in these pictures? I want to hear a little bit from you guys. What do you guys see with this group of people together, like with all that has been said throughout the presentation? Yes, I love it. The community is involved in supporting hands-on learning. They're outside, they're working outside, collaboration on building project, learning hands-on, learning by doing. Yes, excellent. All those are great answers. So that's what they're doing. They're actually creating their project and they're not inside the four walls, right? They're not in a classroom, they're outside. Teamwork, I love it. Yes, a lot of teamwork there. So my students, we show them that teamwork makes the dream work, right? So my students are very aware that helping each other is how we reach our goals, and they're just very engaged in doing their projects in those pictures. So don't set a limit. So as educators, we know what is best for our students across ESL levels, GED, our IETs. So, for example, we include interviewing students from other classes or conducting short speed interviews with colleagues whose English proficiency levels are higher or lower. At my campus, we support one another to help raise students' self esteem and build confidence. For example, when my level 2 students learn about body parts, we go outside and play Simon Says. It seems like a simple task, but it takes them a lot in processing. So in this activity, this simple activity, we learn about preposition. We go outdoors and create our own tie-dye shirts. Also to practice such as over, under, and in between. So these different activities that you take outside your classroom are also a learning experiences. So when we learn prepositions in my classroom, we create t-shirts. So everybody creates t-shirts and we go outside and we help each other passing the bottles. And then they all get a result project that they enjoy and they learn from it. So the crucial point of outdoor learning is to create engaging environments where students actively practice the target language while building a strong learning community. So for example, including interview students from other classrooms, that's one activity that I really enjoy. I usually go around the campus, the students have a questionnaire and they go around the campus, different students, different teachers, and they have to ask introductory questions. So the students are exposed to the language outside their classroom and they're able to connect and network with other people. So when planning outdoor learning experiences, the key consideration should guide implementation. These experiences do not require off-site field trips. Instructional goals can be met effectively within the campus environment. And as long as you have a great team that will help you support you, you guys can do these outdoor experiences. I had a question the other day. Oh, how do you do the zoo learning experience? How do you get your students to go over there? Well, it takes a lot of planning. It doesn't happen overnight, right? So we plan ahead. And if that's not possible, right, if you do not have the means or your students, you can also create your campus I say sue and have the students go around with the scavenger hunt and have them go around your campus. That's a learning experience that they can also have. So addressing challenges and solutions. So some top common concerns are time, transportation, and planning. So time is very necessary in our classroom, transportation, and planning. Like I said, we have to plan ahead when you're trying to do these outdoor learning experiences and talk to your administrator, talk to other colleagues around and how they do their learning experiences. And transportation, talk to your students. Usually they carpool or you don't even have to get out of your campus. You can do it within your campus. So the solutions for those common challenges, right, is to start small, partner with community resources, align activities directly to standards, use pre and post lessons scaffolding. So a lot of my game as a teacher is our partnerships, right? So if it wasn't for my partnerships, I would not have these kind of learning experiences with my students, for my students. So key takeaways for educators. Okay, so this slide really captures the heart of this presentation. The community is a classroom. When we step outside our four walls, learning becomes real, relevant, and meaningful for our students. Using English in real life situations helps students build real confidence. They're not just practicing language for a test or an assignment. They're using it to navigate their real world by communicating their needs and interacting with others. Outdoor learning also supports adult persistence. When students feel engaged, successful and confident, they are more likely to stay enrolled and continue working towards their goal. And finally, standards and creativity can coexist. We do not have to choose between meeting standards and creating engaging instruction. When learning is intentional, we can do both. So for the key takeaway is this picture. So this student that I have in this picture, she's one of my main goals and why I teach, right? So this student came to me with very low English and she wanted to do something. She wanted to be in the workforce, but she knew she had to work on her English levels. So this student started learning English, and after that, she made the scores to actually be in a higher English level, and that gave her opportunities in which I helped her throughout her career for preparing for her workforce. So she started in our IT paraprofessional. She gained more in language, she gained more skills, and after that, she knew that she wanted to do something else. So she took our IT construction class. With that, she gained more English, she gained more confidence, and she gained skills that she was able to have and no one could take from her. And after that, she knew that she wanted to do something. So this is a story that I really enjoy because after that IT construction, she ended up in the CDL class. That's where she found her purpose. Her purpose was to become a bus driver, and she made it. She took the class, she passed her certifications, she got her license, and that's where partnerships comes in. Our school district actually hired her to be our bus driver. So for me, this is the biggest success story, and this is why I strive with outdoor learning. If I don't give my students these experiences, they don't know what their capacities are. So right now she's working at our district as the school bus driver, and she loves it, and she knows that she's not going to stop there. And I want to let my students know that they do not have to stop believing in what they want. They can achieve anything that they can propose. So for me, that is an excellent achievement story, a great success story. And like that, I have many other stories of my students that appreciate these learning experiences because it gets them out of their comfort zone and apply what they're learning. And With that being said, we have final thoughts. So, real places, real voices remind us that language is not learned in isolation, it is lived. When we move learning beyond the classroom walls, we give our students confidence, purpose, and a voice that carries into their communities, workplace, and everyday lives. So, as a teacher and as a past ESL student, I know that these experiences for me were the best because I was able to do what I was actually learning. So my motivation as a teacher is that all my students can learn and apply. And we have to know that we have our community, we have our workplaces that can help make all this better and bigger for us, just to make sure that we have all these success stories of our students. So when we move learning beyond classroom walls, we give our students more than academic skills. We give them confidence, direction, and voices that carry into our community workplaces and everyday lives. As educators, we all have the opportunity to create these learning experiences that empower students to use English meaningfully in the world around them. And we're not only helping our students, we're helping their families. We're helping them grow and become better into our workforce and community. So, thank you for joining me today. Hope you guys all enjoyed this presentation. If you have a quick minute, please complete our survey. That will help me and IPDA. And please let me know what I have to improve or what other things you guys want to hear from. And if you guys have time, our next webinar will be February 17th at 1 p.m. The title of that webinar is called Multi-Level Lesson Planning with AI and Web-Based Tools. So this is an excellent webinar for you guys to get to know how to use AI into your classrooms. And if you know already, it's always good to polish your learning. And I appreciate everybody for joining. Thanks for everything. You guys have a wonderful day, and thanks for all you do for our students in our community.